What defines a family? Is it the blood that courses through our veins, or the bonds we forge through love and loyalty? In the quiet town of Willow Creek, Texas, where the sun sets over rolling hills and life appears idyllic, a shocking revelation shatters the very foundation of one man's existence. A decorated veteran, proud of his service and the life he built, uncovers a devastating truth. Each of his children carries the lineage of different fathers. This betrayal cuts deeper than any battlefield wound, leaving him to grapple with the implications of trust and fidelity. As the picturesque streets of Willow Creek bustle with the laughter of children and the warmth of community, an undercurrent of tragedy brews beneath the surface. The veteran's world, once filled with pride and purpose, spirals into chaos as he confronts the reality of his family's fractured identity. The weight of this revelation looms heavy, hinting at a tragic outcome that will forever alter the lives of those involved. In a place where secrets lie hidden behind white picket fences, the stage is set for a harrowing tale of love, betrayal, and the dark shadows that can lurk within even the most serene settings. James Thompson stands as a pillar of strength in Willow Creek, Texas. A decorated veteran, he wears his military honors with pride, each medal a testament to his unwavering dedication and sense of duty. His days are filled with the rhythms of family life, where he balances the demands of work with the joys of fatherhood. James is the kind of man who believes in sacrifice, not just for his country, but for his family. He often recalls the camaraderie of his fellow soldiers, drawing parallels to the bonds he shares with his children. His commitment to them is palpable. He coaches their sports teams, attends school events, and instills in them the values of honor and integrity. Yet beneath this steadfast exterior lies a man grappling with the weight of expectations and the fear of inadequacy. Lena, his wife, presents a contrasting yet equally complex figure. To the outside world, she embodies the role of a devoted mother, nurturing and supportive. Her laughter fills their home, and her warmth draws friends and neighbors into their lives. However, beneath this facade lies a tapestry of insecurities woven from past traumas. Lena's childhood was marred by instability, leaving her with a deep-seated fear of abandonment. This fear manifests in her relationships, often leading her to seek validation in ways that strain her marriage. While she loves James and their children fiercely, her internal struggles create a chasm between her desires and her actions, hinting at the turmoil that simmers just below the surface. Their children, Emily, Jake, and Sophie, appear to embody the quintessential American family. Emily, the eldest at 16, is a straight-A student with dreams of attending a prestigious university. She is the epitome of ambition, often volunteering in the community and serving as a role model for her younger siblings. Jake, at 12, is a budding athlete, excelling in soccer and drawing admiration from his peers. His infectious energy and charm make him a favorite among friends and family alike. Lastly, there's Sophie, the youngest at 8, whose innocent curiosity and creativity bring joy to their home. She is often found painting or crafting, her imagination boundless. From the outside, the Thompsons seem to lead a charmed life, their successes painting a picture of normalcy and happiness. Yet, as the threads of their lives begin to unravel, the facade of perfection will be tested. The dynamics within the family, once harmonious, are poised for disruption as secrets emerge, revealing the complexities of their relationships. James's unwavering dedication clashes with Lena's hidden insecurities, and the children caught in the crossfire will face the consequences of a reality they never anticipated. As the idyllic setting of Willow Creek becomes the backdrop for their unraveling story, the true nature of family, loyalty, and betrayal will be put to the ultimate test. In the heart of Willow Creek, the Thompson family epitomizes the ideal suburban life. Mornings begin with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee wafting through their cozy kitchen, where James prepares breakfast for his children. He flips pancakes with a smile, engaging in playful banter that fills the room with laughter. His dedication to family is evident in these small moments, as he ensures everyone starts the day with a hearty meal and a positive outlook. After breakfast, he often takes the time to help Emily with her homework, offering guidance and encouragement, while Jake practices soccer drills in the backyard, his father cheering him on from the sidelines. Lena, too, plays her part in this carefully curated life. She organizes family outings, from weekend picnics at the local park to movie nights filled with popcorn and laughter. Her devotion to her children shines through in her efforts to create a nurturing environment. She volunteers at the school, helping with events and fostering connections within the community. Yet, beneath this veneer of perfection lies a more complicated reality. Lena's insecurities often bubble to the surface, manifesting in her need for external validation. Despite her outwardly loving demeanor, she struggles with feelings of inadequacy, haunted by the ghosts of her past. Memories of a tumultuous childhood, marked by instability and neglect, linger in her mind, fueling her fear of abandonment. This fear drives her to seek solace in secret affairs, fleeting connections that provide a temporary escape from her emotional turmoil. Each encounter, while thrilling, only deepens her sense of guilt and shame, creating a cycle of self-loathing that she cannot break. As the Thompsons navigate their daily lives, the cracks in their facade become increasingly apparent. James remains blissfully unaware of Lena's struggles, believing in the strength of their family bond. Meanwhile, Lena's internal battles threaten to unravel the very fabric of their seemingly perfect life. The children, caught in the middle, sense the tension but cannot articulate it, their innocence shielding them from the complexities of adult relationships. The idyllic image of the Thompson family is poised for disruption as the hidden truths begin to surface, challenging the notion of what it truly means to be a family. The turning point in the Thompson family's seemingly perfect life began innocently enough, with a school project that would unravel their world. Ethan, the youngest of the Thompson children, was tasked with a science assignment on genetics. Excitedly, he approached James one evening, his eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Dad, can we do a DNA test? I want to see how we're all related." His enthusiasm was infectious, and James, caught up in the moment, agreed without hesitation. It seemed like a fun way to bond with his son, a chance to explore the science behind family ties. As the days passed, the project took shape. James helped Ethan gather samples, laughing as they swabbed their cheeks and filled out the forms. Yet, beneath the surface of this father-son bonding experience, a sense of unease began to creep into James's mind. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was off, a nagging doubt that lingered in the back of his thoughts. He brushed it aside, attributing it to the stress of work and the usual chaos of family life. When the results finally arrived, the atmosphere in the Thompson household shifted dramatically. James opened the email, his heart racing with anticipation. As he read through the findings, confusion morphed into disbelief. The names listed as biological relatives were not what he expected. Each child's lineage was a jigsaw puzzle with missing pieces, revealing that they shared different fathers. The realization hit him like a punch to the gut, leaving him breathless and reeling. Anger surged through James as he processed the implications of the results. How could this be? He felt betrayed, not just by Lena but by the very foundation of his family. The laughter that once filled their home was replaced by a suffocating silence, each member of the family grappling with the weight of the revelation. James's mind raced with questions, each one more painful than the last. Had Lena ever truly loved him? What had he missed in the years they spent together? In that moment, the idyllic life he had fought to protect crumbled around him. The emotional vulnerability he had always shielded from the world now laid bare, exposing the raw wounds of betrayal and confusion. James felt as if he were standing on the precipice of a chasm, teetering between the life he thought he knew and the harsh reality that lay before him. As he confronted Lena, the air thick with tension, the truth hung heavily between them, a silent accusation that would forever alter their lives. The facade of their family had shattered, leaving only the jagged edges of broken trust and shattered dreams. If you're as intrigued as I am by the hidden motives behind human behavior, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more stories that explore the darkest corners of the human mind. The atmosphere in the Thompson household was thick with tension as James confronted Lena. The results of the DNA test lay between them like a chasm, a silent testament to the betrayal that had shattered their family. James's heart raced, a mix of disbelief and fury coursing through him. "How could you do this to us, Lena?" he demanded, his voice trembling with emotion. "How could you lie to me for all these years?" Lena's initial reaction was one of shock, her eyes wide as she struggled to process the gravity of the situation. "James, I don't know what you're talking about," she stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. The denial hung in the air, a desperate attempt to cling to the remnants of their life together. But James wasn't buying it. He pressed on, his anger boiling over. "The DNA test doesn't lie. Our children, they're not all mine." As the confrontation escalated, Lena's facade began to crack. The tears that welled in her eyes were not just of fear, but of guilt. "I didn't want you to find out this way," she finally admitted, her voice breaking. "I was scared, James. I thought I could keep it hidden, that it wouldn't matter." Her manipulation tactics, honed over years of navigating her insecurities, began to surface. She tried to shift the blame, painting herself as a victim of circumstance, claiming that her affairs were a cry for help, a misguided attempt to fill the void left by her own childhood traumas. James felt a surge of anger at her attempts to justify her actions. "You think this is about you?" he shouted, his voice echoing in the silence of their home. "What about our children? They deserve the truth." The weight of her betrayal pressed down on him, suffocating any remnants of love he had for her. He could see the impact of their unraveling relationship reflected in the faces of their children, who had unknowingly become collateral damage in their parents' war. As the confrontation reached its peak, Lena's confession spilled forth, a torrent of secrets that left James reeling. "I was lonely, James. You were always so focused on your work, your duties. I felt invisible," she cried, her voice laced with desperation. "I thought I could find happiness elsewhere, but it only made things worse." Her admission, while revealing her vulnerability, also highlighted the ethical ambiguity of her choices. She had sought solace in the arms of others, but in doing so, she had shattered the very foundation of their family. James's heart hardened as he listened, the anger morphing into a deep sense of isolation. He felt as if he were standing on the edge of a precipice, looking down into an abyss of despair. The man who had once been a devoted husband and father now found himself consumed by rage and betrayal. He withdrew into himself, isolating from Lena and the children, unable to face the reality of their shattered lives. The warmth of their home turned cold, laughter replaced by silence, and the children, sensing the shift, became anxious and withdrawn. James's emotional vulnerability, once a source of strength, now felt like a burden he could no longer bear. The descent into anger and isolation was swift, leaving him grappling with the haunting question of whether he could ever forgive Lena or rebuild the family they had lost. The confrontation had not only exposed the cracks in their relationship, but had also set in motion a series of events that would forever alter the course of their lives. In the aftermath of the confrontation, James found himself spiraling into a dark abyss of rage and despair. The betrayal had shattered his sense of self, leaving him grappling with a whirlwind of emotions that he could neither understand nor control. Each day felt like a battle against an invisible enemy, the anger simmering just beneath the surface, threatening to erupt at any moment. He would often sit in silence, staring blankly at the walls of their home, haunted by memories of laughter that now felt like echoes from a distant past. The warmth of family life had been replaced by a chilling void, and he struggled to find a way back to the man he once was. James's psychological state deteriorated as he replayed the events in his mind, each thought a dagger that pierced deeper into his heart. He felt betrayed not only by Lena, but by the very concept of family that he had fought so hard to protect. The anger that coursed through him was a double-edged sword. It fueled his desire for answers, but also threatened to consume him entirely. He found himself lashing out at the children, his frustration manifesting in sharp words and cold silences. The guilt that followed only deepened his isolation, creating a vicious cycle that left him feeling trapped. Lena, sensing the growing storm within James, became increasingly fearful. The man she had once loved now seemed like a stranger, his eyes filled with a rage that both terrified and saddened her. She could see the toll the betrayal had taken on him, and it frightened her to think of what he might do in his current state. In a desperate attempt to regain some semblance of control, Lena made the difficult decision to move out. She believed that distance might provide clarity, a chance for both of them to reflect on their choices and the future of their family. Yet, deep down, she feared that this separation might be the final nail in the coffin of their relationship. As Lena packed her belongings, the atmosphere in the house grew heavier, each item she placed in a box symbolizing the life they had built together. James watched in silence, his heart a tumultuous mix of anger and sorrow. The impending separation loomed over them like a dark cloud. And the children, sensing the tension, became increasingly anxious. With each passing day, the suspense built, the air thick with unspoken words and unresolved feelings. James's rage simmered, a volatile force that could ignite at any moment. He felt as if he were standing on the edge of a precipice, teetering between the desire for reconciliation and the urge to lash out. The critical event that would change everything loomed closer, a dark reality that neither he nor Lena could escape. What do you think truly led to this tragic outcome? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective might help us uncover the truth. And don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on future cases. The night of the murders unfolded under a shroud of darkness, tension crackling in the air like a storm about to break. James had spent the evening in a haze, his mind racing with thoughts of betrayal and loss. The decision to confront Lena had been brewing within him, fueled by a mix of anger and desperation. When he discovered that she had gone to a friend's house, a primal instinct took over. He needed answers, and he needed them now. As he drove through the quiet streets of Willow Creek, the headlights of his car cut through the darkness, illuminating the path ahead. Each turn felt like a descent into madness, his heart pounding in rhythm with the growing rage inside him. When he arrived at his friend's house, he saw Lena's car parked outside, and a surge of adrenaline coursed through him. He stepped out, fists clenched, his breath coming in sharp bursts as he approached the door. Inside, the atmosphere was charged with laughter and warmth, a stark contrast to the turmoil raging within James. He pushed the door open, and the laughter died instantly. There, in the living room, he found Lena with Alex, her former colleague, their bodies too close, their laughter too intimate. The sight ignited a firestorm of emotions within him. Betrayal, humiliation, and an overwhelming sense of loss. In that moment, all rational thought evaporated. James felt his world collapse around him, and the rage that had simmered for weeks erupted like a volcano. He lunged forward, the act of violence a blur as he confronted Alex. The struggle was chaotic, fueled by a mix of adrenaline and despair. James's hands, once gentle and nurturing, became instruments of fury, driven by the pain of betrayal. The immediate aftermath was a cacophony of chaos and horror. Lena's screams pierced the air, a haunting sound that echoed in James's mind as he stood there, breathless and trembling. The reality of what he had done began to sink in, the weight of his actions crashing down like a tidal wave. In that moment, the man he had been, the devoted husband and father, was lost, replaced by a figure consumed by rage and regret. The darkness that had enveloped him now felt inescapable, marking the beginning of a nightmare from which there would be no waking. In the wake of the tragic events, the police investigation unfolded rapidly, drawing the attention of the entire Willow Creek community. Officers arrived at the scene, their expressions a mix of shock and determination as they began to piece together the horrifying details of the night. James, still reeling from the chaos, found himself in a daze, his mind clouded by the weight of his actions. When questioned, he confessed, his voice trembling as he recounted the events that had led to the violence. The confession, while a release of his pent-up emotions, also marked the beginning of a long and painful journey through the legal system. The community, once a close-knit haven, was now fractured by the tragedy. Neighbors whispered in hushed tones, grappling with disbelief that such violence could erupt in their peaceful town. Some expressed sympathy for James, viewing him as a man pushed to his limits, while others condemned his actions, labeling him a monster. The biases of investigators also came into play as they navigated the complexities of the case, often framing James's military background as both a factor in his emotional state and a potential justification for his actions. Amidst the turmoil, the children bore the brunt of the fallout. Emily, Jake, and Sophie were thrust into a world of uncertainty, their lives upended in an instant. The trauma of witnessing their family disintegrate left deep scars, each child processing the events in their own way. They were placed in foster care, a stark transition that stripped them of the only home they had ever known. The warmth of their family life was replaced by the cold reality of separation, leaving them feeling lost and abandoned. As the investigation continued and the community grappled with the aftermath, the consequences of that fateful night rippled through Willow Creek. The Thompson story became a cautionary tale, a haunting reminder of how quickly love can turn to rage and how fragile the bonds of family can be. The children, now navigating a new and uncertain future, would carry the weight of their parents' choices for the rest of their lives, forever marked by the tragedy that had shattered their world. The trial of James Thompson became a focal point for the community, drawing attention not only for the shocking nature of the crime, but also for the complex legal arguments that unfolded in the courtroom. The prosecution argued for premeditation, painting James as a man who had meticulously planned the confrontation that led to the murders. They highlighted his actions leading up to the event, suggesting that his anger had festered over time, culminating in a calculated act of violence. In contrast, the defense sought to establish a case for temporary insanity, arguing that the emotional turmoil and psychological distress James experienced rendered him incapable of rational thought at the time of the incident. Dr. Chen, a prominent psychologist, was called to testify, providing a nuanced analysis of both James and Lena. He described James as a man deeply affected by his military background, grappling with the pressures of toxic masculinity that often discourage vulnerability and emotional expression. Dr. Chen noted that James's inability to cope with feelings of betrayal and inadequacy had led to a catastrophic breakdown, suggesting that the combination of his past traumas and the immediate emotional crisis had pushed him over the edge. Lena, on the other hand, was portrayed as a victim of her own insecurities and past traumas. Dr. Chen emphasized her manipulative tendencies, rooted in a desperate need for validation, which ultimately contributed to the tragic events. He argued that while Lena's actions were indefensible, they were also a reflection of her complex psychological state, shaped by a lifetime of emotional neglect and fear of abandonment. The trial also opened a broader discussion about societal themes, particularly the implications of DNA testing in family dynamics. The revelation of paternity through such tests had not only shattered James's perception of his family, but also highlighted the fragility of trust in relationships. The community grappled with the ethical considerations surrounding genetic testing, questioning how such revelations could impact familial bonds and societal norms. Additionally, the trial underscored the pervasive issue of toxic masculinity, as James's struggle with his emotions resonated with many in the community. His inability to express vulnerability or seek help became a cautionary tale about the dangers of suppressing feelings in a society that often equates masculinity with stoicism and aggression. As the trial progressed, it became clear that the consequences of that fateful night extended far beyond the courtroom. The complexities of justice, the humanity of the perpetrator, and the intricacies of victimhood intertwined, revealing a tapestry of systemic implications that would leave a lasting mark on Willow Creek. The community was forced to confront its complicity in the narratives of masculinity and emotional repression, ultimately questioning what justice truly meant in the face of such profound tragedy. The tragic tale of the Thompson family serves as a poignant reminder of the destructive power of secrets and the fragility of human relationships. At its core, this story challenges us to reflect on the complexities of trust, love, and betrayal. It raises profound questions about how well we truly know those closest to us and the hidden struggles that often lie beneath the surface. The consequences of Lena's choices and James's reaction illustrate how unaddressed emotions can spiral into chaos, leaving devastation in their wake. As we navigate our own lives, it is crucial to recognize the importance of empathy and support. The societal pressures that shape our behaviors and relationships can often lead to isolation and misunderstanding. This case serves as a mirror, reflecting the need for open communication and emotional vulnerability in our interactions. By fostering an environment where individuals feel safe to express their feelings, we can mitigate the risks of secrets festering into something far more dangerous. In contemplating the complexities of this case, we are challenged to suspend judgment and approach the narrative with compassion. Each character, flawed and human, embodies the struggles many face in their own lives. As we consider the lessons learned from the Thompsons, let us strive to cultivate understanding and connection in our communities, ensuring that no one feels alone in their battles. If this story made you question human nature, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a case. Also, share your opinion in the comments. I'd love to hear your take on this one.